What's up, everybody? This is Mohammed with a Mohammed Minute. Now, germ theory. Let us talk about this. It is the biggest scam in the 21st century. It funds these hospitals with their testing, right? For testing, right? Hospitals, they make a lot of money on testing. And unfortunately, what the germ theory provides is an adequate ground for these hospitals to make money, because you have to look at everything in life as a business, right? So, how do you market the sale of different procedures? How do you market the sale of different testing apparatuses? How do you do that? You have to make the common person believe that there is something wrong with them, right? It could be something that has a very easy fix, right? But what these companies do is, or what any capitalistic society does, is it comes up with ways to sell snake oil, right? Because essentially that's what it is. This is just snake oil, right? Why is it that when a lot of people like me, I'm not going to blame that as, oh, I'm sick. Nah, it's just my lymph node system needs a little bit clearing up. So I'm at the gym right now. I'm going to go get it in the sauna, sweat out, clean my pores up just a little bit, sweat it out, and then I'll be okay. But we were talking about germ theory. The terrain of your body needs some basic things, right? Now, the whole system of the body is a perfect machine, right? And what people don't realize is that most diseases are diseases of filth, right? When you see a tumor growth, when you see a cancer growth, it's calcification of either a different organ, calcification of a lymph node, calcification of many different things. Now, this is not to say that the hospitals don't do a good job. They do a good job in certain things. In other things, they do a horrible job. They will suck the life out of a patient, right? Because of the guesswork that comes with dealing with a person's health. And a lot of times that guesswork is fueled by these different tests. So, a doctor's practice is still a practice nonetheless, right? He's practicing different methods on his patients. And some doctors are more careless, more ego-centered than others. So, the germ theory. If the terrain of your body is good, then you slow down the process of disease, the process of calcification, the process of having mucus built up in different parts of your body, right? That's the first stage of disease, right? You get mucus, and then that mucus hardens, calcifies. But if the terrain is good, if you give your bodies the adequate building blocks to sustain itself, then this so-called disease will have a hard time settling within you, right? Now, one of the ways to fight this disease, or whichever disease, is to clean your gut. But unfortunately, what modern day medicine has done is it completely destroys your gut. Your gut is made out of different flora, different bacteria that accumulates throughout your life, from different foods, different experiences, just a lot of different things that accumulate and make you the person you are through your gut, right? Serotonin, all of these different feel-good chemicals, they have a base in your gut, right? So, let's say that you have been diagnosed with a disease, right? A lot of people come into my shop, they ask me, I have this, I have that, I have high blood pressure, I have high cholesterol, I have nerve pain, I have back pain, right? All of these different things. One of the most understudied systems of the body is the lymph node system, right? So the blood, it feeds your cells. The lymph node system cleans your cells. It takes the waste out. If your lymph node system is backed up, then your kidneys will be backed up, right? And if your kidneys are backed up, it'll affect your other organs. So, how do you ease the load on your kidneys so your lymph node system can work better? So you have, urine that cleans your system multiple times in a day if you let it. And then you have another system or another organ that constantly cleans up your body, which is your skin, right? You have many different lymph nodes on your skin, right? So you sweat out a lot of these different waste matters that accumulate in your cells, right? But if you're not sweating, then your body is not doing its job. It's not running as the perfect machine, right? That's like clogging up the exhaust on your car. What's going to happen? It's going to affect your engine. It's going to affect everything, right? And then the engine will affect the transmission. A faulty transmission will affect your wheels, and then your blinker fluid will be affected. No, it's like a lot of these different things. If you look at it from a point, what is the catalyst, right? Like I remember growing up, we would read about World War I, right? And my history teacher, Miss Fotinos, I believe, she would keep on using this word, catalyst. And it was quite interesting to me at the time. I was like, oh, that's a fancy word, catalyst. What is a catalyst? Well, a catalyst is a point in which everything after is affected, right? It's like the pivotal point in time. So the pivotal point of your body is having proper methods to remove waste. But if you don't have proper methods to remove waste, if you're not sweating, right? And it doesn't mean that you're not doing physical exercise, although that is a good way to sweat. Sometimes what happens is your lymph nodes are so clogged up, achieving that first sweat takes so much work. It takes a lot of energy, right? So what a lot of people can do is, they can go to the sauna, right? That's one thing they can do. A lot of times we use food as an emotional means to feel better, right? Because we'd like to argue that no, not everybody is a drug addict. Nobody is a drug addict, right? Yeah, nobody's a drug addict. But a lot of people have these tendencies that resemble drug addicts. But instead of drugs, they use food to fill an emptiness. And not even in their stomach, because that emptiness has already been filled. This is an emptiness in their heart. So they use food as an emotional means to basically feel better, right? So what happens when you don't eat food? When you go through a fasted state, your body starts utilizing different things, right? So first, if there's nothing being fed to the blood, your lymph node has a better job of just taking out the waste, right? Because if nothing's coming in, only everything's going out, then what happens? The inside of the cell becomes cleaner and cleaner and cleaner. And then what you will find is, once you get over the mental pain of, oh, I haven't ate, once you get over the fact that everybody around you, if you choose to tell them, they will tell you that, oh, this is a very hard thing to do. This is very hard. Because, words are very powerful. So whatever you tell people, whatever they tell you, it has a cause and effect both ways. So, and you got to remember, people only know what you tell them. So if you don't tell them you're fasting, you know what they're going to tell you? They're going to say, hey, your skin is glowing today. You'll know the reason. You don't have to tell them. But then you'll have a more unbiased statement on what's going on with you to the viewer, right? So, fasting. This helps the lymph node system clean your body, right? So fasting is one. Sweating is another thing. You have to sweat. And lastly, if you do choose to break your fast, you have to use foods that are all natural. Meaning, no hungry man. Nothing with preservatives. Because the most simplest way to explain this whole process is this. A lot of these post-modern chemicals that they use to preserve foods have a very large name, right? Think of it in the most simplest terms, right? I'm not here to confuse you. Think about it like this. So, if a chemical structure is very big, meaning it's a very big molecule, it's a very big, it takes a lot of time for your body to just process, right? It sits in your body, it seeps there for a long time, and unfortunately it accumulates. So after 10 years of eating hungry man, you will definitely see the effects. And one can argue that, hey man, I'm not well endowed like you to eat fruit every day. Definitely, right? Definitely, that is true. Not everybody can afford to spend, $4 per pack of blueberries. So 3 packs of blueberries every day, right? $12 on some blueberries every day, right? Definitely, I agree with you. But living in America, living in the West, you have means to go to these non-profits. This is where the non-profits can come and really help the people. Really help the people. So most cities, they have these food pantries, right? A lot of these cities have food pantries where you can get many items. And the good thing is, for fruit, there's no limit. So in Seattle, when I used to visit my local food pantry, I used to get all of the fruit, right? So much fruit. And I would just eat the fruit. This went on for about 3 weeks. 3 weeks I just ate fruit. And what happened, there was a point in time in those 3 weeks, I woke up in the middle of the night and my heart was racing really, really fast. Right? Really fast. So, to the average person, they might look at that as, oh man, you had a minor heart attack, you had this, you had that. No, it wasn't that serious, right? Because once you label something, you limit what it is or what it was. What happened was that the stools that were inside of me started getting all of this moisture, right? So there might have been a meal from a month ago that was just sitting there in my intestines, dried up. When something is dried, especially in the body, everything else around it just sticks to it. So once it got some moisture, it moved, there was blood flow. My body didn't know what to do with this added energy, right? Because it's working more efficiently. Like in any system, right? Like once something is working more efficiently, there needs to be a point of homeostasis. So although I was sleeping, my body was like, why do I feel so energized? I must be at the gym. Hold on, let me see if I'm at the gym. The heart. All right, well, nope, I'm not at the gym. And then it kind of came back down, right? So the next day, I had the largest passing of stool that I've ever had in my life. And keep in mind, I'm a skinny man. And it was quite impressive, to say the least, right? And it was black, so it was old stool. But this is called the solid food vacation, right? Because before a fasted state, before you can run on no food, you have to take a break from your current food. And before that time, what I was eating was, Pakistani food. Good Pakistani food, man. Nihari, paya. Nihari is like, a shank of lamb in oil. Now I look back and I kind of laugh. But once you're hypnotized with food, you're hypnotized in the experience of eating with your loved ones. You're hypnotized in thinking that the only way to bond is through this food. You end up taking a toll on your body. And to recover, you have to go through a drastic change. So, fruit. I would just eat fruit for about 3 weeks. And before that time, right, so I've always worked out a lot, but I never had a six-pack. So after the 3 weeks of me just eating fruit, I had a six-pack. Turns out my belly was not a belly, like it wasn't fat at all. It was just my intestines swollen up from all of the unpassed stools that were accumulating. So that really opened my eyes that, your body is a perfect machine. And if you look at it from a realistic standpoint, you were made to run, you were made to jump, you were made to climb, you were made to be the best, right? In today's term, relative to today's average person, you were meant to be superhuman. But what you were meant to be means that physical state should be the average person, right? Because we're all human, right? Like every cat, every cat that falls from a large height, it lands on its feet. Unless it's a fat cat, then I don't know what's going to happen. But it's the same with humans. Every human is made for these basic things. But now society has gotten to the point where these basic things seem superhuman. They seem like, oh, this guy's an athlete, this guy's this. No, it's just having control, having the willpower to say no to food when you're with loved ones, but still make it an enjoyable experience. Or you don't even have to say no. You can still accompany them, right? But you can just eat a little bit and then slowly try the fruit method, right? Eat a lot of fruit. But before you do that, you have to make sure that there is like proper digestion, because a lot of times when your colon is backed up, when your intestines are filled with unpassed stools, your digestion is really bad. And it accumulates. So if you eat a lot of fruit, it may ferment. It's a whole different process. So you have to see what works best for you, right? Definitely stay hydrated. A lot of times when somebody stays hydrated, they use a plastic water bottle. What's bad about plastic? They have estrogen mimickers, BPA. So you might be fixing one thing, but your body is then accumulating plastics. And the thing about hormones, they accumulate, right? They accumulate, and then you get to a point where it's like the point of no return, and then it becomes hard. So avoid plastics. As far as water, I would suggest to you, eat a lot of watermelon, right? Eat a lot of different fruits that are light. Eat a lot of grapes. Eat a lot of just fruits that'll help you stay hydrated, right? So after that whole process, I started looking into different herbs, different, just different things. One thing that always fascinated me is how, different nations have different acumens, you could say, right? And it has a lot to do with diet. Like, let's say if your people grew up on the beach, you will have a different look to you, you could say. And it's not just about skin color, right? It's about the type of muscle fibers that you have, right? Because if you're at the beach, you're either fishing, your people have fished a lot, your people have swam a lot. So it's just different processes. So in this search of different diets, I came across just some key things from different countries, right? Like Vietnam. Vietnam is a big, it's like fishing capital, right? So in Vietnam, they have sea moss. Jamaica, they have sea moss, right? So sea moss really changed my life because it gave me a way to have a meal without feeling like, oh, I've just had a meal, right? So I would suggest to people to eat a sea moss as a meal replacement. Basically, eat about 8 ounces and see how you feel, right? Along with the fruits, along with, the nuts. But if you really want to cook something, then I would suggest for you to eat lentils, right? Eat lentils. Be varied though. Be varied in your lentils. Have a lot of different types of lentils. That's how you can develop a good taste. But simple living is often the best medicine, right? If you have back pain, try sleeping on the floor. It's something so simple. If you're forgetful, try a hard day's work. If you're lazy, try just going for a walk. And lazy in the sense that you're unmotivated, not lazy in the sense that, you're resting. You're just unmotivated, right? So let's say if you have a low sex drive, then try abstaining from sex, whether it's, definitely abstain from pornography, definitely, because that's gonna make your brain look for shortcuts all the time. So you cannot do that. But what I'm saying is, low sex drive, like you're married, you're not watching porn, you just feel like it's not the same anymore. Try just abstaining for about 3 weeks and then come back to it. Because oftentimes when you have too much of something, it loses its magic. To get the magic back, you have to abstain from it. So, Mohammed Minute. It's about 26 minutes, but you get my drift. As far as some vitamins, I wanted to bring people the first step on the ladder of success, right? Because oftentimes when people start the journey, they think that they need to add something to their life. So I created these different vitamins to at least aid and not harm anybody. Because look, vitamins, yes, they're good, but they're just one brick of the wall you want to build, right? It's just one brick. Vitamins is one brick. Another brick is fasting. Another brick is physical exertion. Another brick is don't watch porn. Another brick is people skills. Another brick is, there's just these different bricks that build a strong wall for your fort. Because at the end of the day, everybody is building a fort, whether they realize it or not. And that fort should protect you from people who want to make money off of you. Your doctors, the funeral director, the life insurance people, your kids, your wife. They want to make money off of you, man. So basically, no, I'm just saying, like, this is just different things to where you can be a different person. I don't know if it'll be a better person. Maybe you'll lose your ability to be approachable. I don't know. Maybe you'll just be so much of a beast that people will be intimidated by you. Maybe it'll end up being worse, because then people will just remember you for being that weak, sloth, lazy, undisciplined person that they had control over. Now you're a beast, and now all the people around you just resent you. You don't know that. I don't know that. But there's only one way to find out. You got to, take the first step. You got to take the first step. That's what everybody has to do. And it's hard because we've been conditioned to be consumers and not producers. So we go to different people. They tell us, this is why you are like this. And we say, oh, okay, I'll repeat that to everyone I know. And then they'll be as impressed by me as I was impressed by him. But the difference is, that guy who's a doctor or whoever, he's getting paid a lot of money to be indoctrinated, right? Because he took the steps to become indoctrinated, so he's gonna say what he believes, right? But if you take the steps to find what's best for your own health, you will speak with such conviction that people will listen to you. Because at the end of the day, everybody likes honesty. You know, if you speak with an open heart, people can feel it. And if you're right or if you're wrong, that's just relative to the person listening to you, or that's just relative to the person who's benefiting from you or not. And it's quite arbitrary. All you need to worry about is speaking with the right conviction. And what will happen is you will be at rest. You'll be able to sleep good at night because you tried your best and you are living the way that you speak. Like a lot of the doctors, do they live the way they speak? I don't know. I'm not a doctor, so I cannot say. But that's for you to decide, right? Like, so this has been a Mohammed Minute. Thank you.